The music industry over the last century has been characterized by a complex power dynamic between artists, record labels, and those who control the rights to the music that makes or breaks careers. This tension reached a fever pitch in 2019, when one of the most high-profile conflicts in the industry between music executive Scooter Braun and global pop icon Taylor Swift exploded into public view. Their feud, initially sparked by the sale of Swift's master recordings without her knowledge, highlighted the long-standing struggle many artists face in maintaining control over their creations. The controversy reignited discussions around the control that artists have over their music, as well as the structural inequities within the industry. Historically, record labels have wielded disproportionate power over artists, dictating terms that often resulted in musicians losing rights to their own work. While some may argue that this is the price for achieving mainstream success, it has become increasingly clear that the old model of the music industry is ripe for disruption. At the heart of the conflict between Swift and Braun was the ownership of Swift's master recordings, the original versions of her songs from which copies are made. These recordings were part of Big Machine Records, the label Swift signed with as a teenager in 2006. When Swift's contract expired in 2018, she signed with Universal Music Group, ensuring ownership of her future masters, but the fate of her older albums remained tied to Big Machine. In 2019, Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings acquired Big Machine Records, including the masters of Swift's first 6 albums. Swift publicly denounced the sale, claiming that she was not informed about it before the deal was finalized. This development sparked outrage among her fans and led to a widespread debate about artists' rights in the music industry. In Swift's view, this acquisition was particularly personal, as Braun had been involved in managing artists she believed had attempted to tarnish her reputation in the past. She accused Braun of manipulative bullying, and the feud became a media sensation. Braun later sold Swift's masters to the private equity firm Shamrock Capital, which only exacerbated the conflict. Swift stated that she was once again unaware of the sale, reinforcing her belief that she had no control over the rights to her own music. In response, Swift made a bold move. She decided to re-record and re-release her earlier albums, labeling them as Taylor's version. This move not only regained control over the commercial success of her earlier work, but also allowed fans to support her new versions instead of the original masters, which were still under the control of Braun's and later Shamrock's acquisitions. The dispute between Swift and Braun is emblematic of a deeper issue in the music industry, the lack of control artists often have over their intellectual property. For decades, record labels have served as gatekeepers to mainstream success, often signing artists to contracts that give the labels ownership over their recordings. These contracts are typically structured in a way that heavily favors the label, which justifies its share of profits by citing the risk it takes in investing in artists' careers. For emerging artists, signing a deal with a major label often seems like the only way to break into the industry. Labels provide the financial backing for recording, promotion, and distribution, all of which are expensive and difficult for an independent artist to manage. However, the trade-off is that artists usually give up a significant portion of their creative control and ownership. In Swift's case, she was just 15 years old when she signed her first deal with Big Machine Records. At that time, it may have seemed like the best option for her to get her music out into the world. However, as she grew into one of the biggest names in music, the lack of control over her own work became increasingly frustrating. Her decision to re-record her albums is a rare example of an artist successfully reclaiming their work, but it underscores the larger issue of ownership that most artists in the industry face. Swift is far from the only artist to have encountered these issues. Prince famously battled his record label, Warner Brothers, over the ownership of his masters, at one point changing his name to a symbol in protest. Kanye West has also been vocal about his desire to own his masters, at one point calling the music industry a form of modern-day slavery. These high-profile cases draw attention to the imbalance of power between artists and record labels, and the need for reforms in how intellectual property rights are handled in the industry. While the power dynamics between artists and record labels have remained relatively unchanged for decades, the advent of streaming technology has begun to reshape the music industry in profound ways. Streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon Music have become the dominant means of music distribution, reducing the role of traditional record labels as gatekeepers. In theory, streaming platforms offer artists a more direct route to reaching listeners, bypassing the need for radio play or physical album sales. However, streaming has introduced faced its own challenges. Artists often criticize streaming platforms for offering low royalty rates. For instance, Spotify pays an average of $0.03 to $0.05 per stream, which means that artists must accumulate millions of streams just to earn a living wage. Furthermore, while streaming services have reduced the need for physical distribution, they still often require artists to sign deals with labels or distributors to gain visibility on these platforms, perpetuating the existing power dynamics. In this changing landscape, artists are increasingly looking for ways to bypass traditional systems altogether. Many are turning to social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube to promote their music directly to fans. These platforms allow for greater creative control and direct engagement with audiences, but they still leave questions about long-term sustainability and ownership of content. As the music industry continues to evolve, technology holds the potential to further empower artists by giving them more control over their content and its distribution. The introduction of blockchain technology and decentralized platforms is particularly promising in this regard. Blockchain can offer a transparent and immutable record of music ownership, ensuring that artists retain control over their intellectual property. Smart contracts, a key feature of blockchain technology, could automate royalty payments, ensuring that artists are compensated fairly and in real time for the use of their work. One notable example of how blockchain could revolutionize music distribution is through platforms like Audius, a decentralized music streaming service built on blockchain technology. Audius allows artists to upload their music directly to the platform, where listeners can stream it without the involvement of intermediaries like record labels or traditional streaming services. Artists on Audius retain full ownership of their work and can earn more favorable royalty rates than on traditional streaming platforms. Furthermore, blockchain's transparency ensures that artists can track how their music is being used and distributed, giving them greater control over their content. Additionally, the rise of non-fungible tokens, NFTs, offers another avenue for artists to monetize their work while maintaining ownership. NFTs are unique digital assets that can be bought and sold, and in the case of music, they allow artists to sell exclusive rights or access to their content. For instance, musicians can release limited edition versions of songs or albums as NFTs, offering fans a way to own a piece of the artist's work while ensuring that the artist retains control over how the content is used. Another potential innovation is the development of artist-centric streaming services that prioritize fair compensation and transparency. These platforms could offer subscription models that directly support artists, allowing fans to pay a monthly fee to access content while knowing that the majority of their payment goes directly to the creators. By cutting out intermediaries, these platforms could offer a more sustainable and equitable system for artists. The ongoing feud between Taylor Swift and Scooter Braun serves as a stark reminder of the deep-seated issues in the music industry. For decades, artists have struggled to gain control over their own creations, often sacrificing ownership for the promise of mainstream success. However, as technology continues to evolve, there are increasing opportunities for artists to regain control over their work. Streaming platforms have already begun to democratize music distribution, and the rise of blockchain, NFTs, and decentralized platforms promises to take this trend even further. By giving artists greater control over their music and more equitable compensation models, these innovations could reshape the music industry into a space that is more artist-friendly and sustainable. The future of music distribution is still unfolding, but one thing is clear: technology holds the key to a new era of artist empowerment. As we move forward, it is crucial that we continue to explore these innovations, ensuring that the creators who bring us the music we love are fairly compensated and in control of their own work. Through these advancements, the industry has the potential to shift from one dominated by middlemen and gatekeepers to one where artists and their art truly come first. If you found this video interesting, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of music and tech. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest content. Let us know in the comments what you think. How do you see technology changing the future of music? Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.